Welcome back to a brand new episode of Private Parts with me, Liv Bentley. This is the podcast where nothing is off limits. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us wherever it is that you get your podcast. And you can also watch every glorious episode on our YouTube channel, which is at Private Parts Pod. Today's episode, we have got a golden oldie who is a regular, Mr. Kevin Bentley, and my beautiful sister, Kinvara.
Hey!
Woo's first time on the sofa. Kev's been in here a lot. Are you nervous?
I'm very nervous.
It's all wedding chat.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, could you just explain, Kev, what has been going on in Kent? We have a family group chat, and the first photo that came in recently was Mama at a church service with every local and their pet, and a woman took a guinea pig.
Yes, well, all right. So we're new to Kent, and it's been a bit of an eye-opener. And the church that all this took place in is kind of at the end of the garden. So it's rather charming. And there is an extremely nice, I think I've got to be careful here, vicar.
Yes.
That
Will be marrying me.
will be marrying you, exactly. But we're all a bit weary at the moment because I've just been to my first destination wedding.
Now tell us where that was.
And the thing about these weddings are they're very difficult to get to some of these places. So so last week we were put on an airline that was called after a local vegetable, or perhaps it was a fruit. And I saw this thing and I thought, oh, I'm not sure this is a good idea. Anyway, fortunately, it wasn't flying that day because the day before it had landed without its wheels down.
Stop.
So, so we had to overnight in somewhere else. And
Wait,
then we took another slightly older plane, if possible, to a sort of sand spit, I think is the only way to describe it, in the Bahamas. And although the wedding was completely charming, the whole week was one sort of family giving a party or another one giving a party and all the rest of it. Anyway, look, I won't be doing any more destination weddings.
But your oldest child,
Well, now-
Kinvara's is a destination wedding.
Yeah, but I think we know that bit. I mean, getting there is a lot easier than it was getting to this other place.
You don't have the best experience on planes, do you, Kev?
No, we
Have
don't.
you told these stories before about the deaths on the planes? Have
No.
you heard this? Yeah, you have heard this. The three deaths.
We're not doing that.
We-
We're not doing that. Anyway, so moving back to Kent, we arrived there, less than a year ago, and the first thing one has to try and do is try and get somebody to help in the garden, and then help in the house, and all this sort of malarkey. And
my mum sent him off with a note to stick in the village window shop.
in the shop. So anyway, the first knock at the door, which was an interesting one, I kept looking out of the window, couldn't see anyone, and. Anyway, eventually the bell kept going, the dog was barking, so I opened the door, and there is, actually charming, but the most minute person I think I've ever seen in my life. And I thought, God, he won't even be able to reach up and mow the lawn. I mean, anyway, so that was, I said I'd be in touch. Anyway, that was the first one. Then the next one to arrive must have been, well, the first, I should have got the clue when she said, rather grandly, has the position been filled? And I thought it was very old-fashioned, rather charming. Well, anyway, when the door opened to this one, she was well in excess of 80. I mean, well in excess of 80, poor thing, staggered in, wanted a cup of tea, of course, and that's fine. And then I thought, well, that's not going to work either, I don't think. She looked quite exhausted by the time she'd gone up the steps to the front door. So anyway, since then, we've been travelling quite a lot.
You've had a few piano lessons?
And no, look, we cannot discuss that. That was even worse. Oh, the poor
I don't
woman.
think she'd listen to this.
Well, you became her therapist, didn't you?
No. So my
you
mum was
did.
very worried that Kev was quite content doing just nothing but the gardening and the crossword. So mum decided to book Kev some piano lessons.
It was sweet. It was nice.
The intention
No,
was...
look, the poor thing. She turned up and she looked rather sort of fussed, well, she didn't look at all well. Anyway, she told me that her husband had left some months before in a camper van and hadn't been seen since. And so, anyway, it did actually make me laugh. So I said, are your parents still alive? Can they help me? She said, well, actually, my mother always said, marry someone with a camper van and you're in for trouble. So anyway, she hasn't been back. That was a nice. So actually, we're in Kent alone, and all is good for the time being.
For the time being, while we prepare for
the big wedding of my eldest daughter, which we are thrilled about, as I have 4 daughters, as you might well know or not.
My father's tried for years to get us all married.
And so this is very exciting news to see the eldest go first, which is good.
Can you and then explain how George is the fiance, how George asked your permission?
Well, it was very old-fashioned and completely charming, and he rang and said, could he meet us for lunch? And I thought, this is good news, and which he did. But his wife, to be my eldest daughter, thought this was all very odd because she was in London thinking, well, what's he doing? Where is he? And then he was making up stories about buying a bicycle or something. I don't know what he was doing. And anyway, then when he finally got back...
Well, no, firstly, you all arrived in the car park of where the restaurant was, and Daddy just shouted, yes, the answer's yes. And Mum said, would you please let him go through the motions?
Yeah, no, I have to be honest with you, I was so excited, waited so long. Yeah, the answer was yes. And anyway, he was a bit taken aback. But I believe everything is still going forward.
We're still on track.
We're nearly there. We've got 2 months to go.
Yeah,
yeah.
Everyone's had their fittings. You've had your fitting.
I've had a fitting.
Your hair and makeup. Are you excited about it?
I'm very excited. I really am. I'm thrilled to bits. I think it's it is good, isn't it?
Are you?
We got there in the end. Yes, yeah. I'm very excited.
Explain the proposal.
Okay, so I knew that we were going away for my birthday. I didn't know where we were going. So like every woman, I decided to get a spray tan. So anyway, George was behaving really strangely, getting really flustered. I didn't really understand, but I was set on my spray tan. Anyway, of course, the spray tan lady was an hour late. But of course, that was fine for me. Anyway, so I went in, had the spray tan, and he was all over the place. And he said, I need to go for a run. And I said, oh, for God's sake. It's like 8 p.m. at night. So anyway, go for a run. Anyway, I went to go get my spray tan. So you can imagine I looked the most beautiful, My hair was so messy. I was covered in, black tracksuits. I mean, very, very orange. Anyway, got into bed. And he said, he came back from his run. He said, would you come downstairs? And I said, oh, fuck, what have I done now? I thought he was going to yell at me about the recycling because I'm not brilliant at that. Anyway, so I came down the stairs. Anyway, this dog suddenly shot out of our living room, and she had a little sort of bandana on that said, I do too. So I knew what was coming. Anyway, he ended up getting down on one knee on the staircase and asked me to marry him. But all I remember is looking at his back leg shaking so much because he was so nervous. Anyway, I basically had like a bit of a sort of hyperventilation moment. Like I sort of had turned my back to him and was like, oh my God, it's happening. I can't believe it's happening. So he had to wait for about 4 minutes with his knee going like this on the thing. And then I turned around and I said, yes. But I felt really bad because he'd put all this effort into making our sitting room like all lovely with all these candles and champagne and flowers and all of this stuff. And B, our dog, was just too impatient. She came bolting out. And so we did it on the staircase.
Sweet B.
Yeah.
It is very sweet.
And then we went away. And then I called you.
You did?
Yeah.
It's been emotional.
Well, you were on your way to a dinner party because you were waiting as well. Because
we were all
calling
you.
Everyone was waiting, and my poor lady doing my spray tan caused a lot of trouble that night.
Being late.
Yeah, she did. That's why he went for a run.
I'm surprised. No, did you tell me? No, we have a problem in our family where
everyone tells nobody anything, but they really do.
But everyone knows everything.
I know.
Yeah.
And then it's the best is don't tell your mother.
I always forget who I've told what.
I know. Mum does the same thing. No one can ever remember what conversation we've ever had with who. But no, weirdly, I think that was actually a big surprise.
But actually, we were leaving that night after we had lunch. We were going off to
South Africa. No, because I had got the dates wrong, thinking that he had more time, and then he realised you were about to leave, so that's why it was quick to the point. But I have to say, he found the whole buying a ring experience really difficult.
Well, because you're fussy?
No, that's not why. No, he just naively kind of assumed that you just go into a shop and there's the ring and it's very easy. I want that one, thanks very much. But it wasn't like that at all.
Well, what do you mean? What was it like?
Well, I don't know. He really struggled because they had to end up actually creating mine.
But did you send him
because he took your advice, which was buy the stone and then you do the setting,
Well, let me just say it's safe to say we won't have any of these concerns with me. I've decided I'm not going to get married.
No, Olivia, no.
It's not for me.
No, listen.
No, seriously. I've contemplated actually being in a polyamorous relationship.
No.
But no, I've never had the dream of the big white wedding, really.
I think it's really funny because for me, I think as a little girl, you do kind of aspire to have that moment, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that's something that I always wanted. I always wanted to get married. It's weird because a lot of my friends aren't married, so I haven't really had that kind of pressure, I guess,
whereas
that a
all
lot of
mine
other
are.
people have. I mean, all of George's friends are married and they've got their first child by now. But for me, I thought I would want a really big wedding, and actually I don't want that.
But you're now having 2 huge ones.
They're not huge. They're not huge.
Well,
we have a big family. I mean, our family's 60 people before you've even passed go, and that's like first relations.
It's horrible. I'm thrilled to hear you're not wanting to get married, darling, and you can tell your other 2 sisters the same thing. It's a good for me. I'm thrilled.
The fourth one
You'll
will
be
be
broke
I've
by
got
the
through
end of
these
it.
2. I mean, yeah, it's going to be an
No, I
interesting
think.
one.
Listen, you're just doing you right now. Like, you don't need to think about it. It always happens when you least expect it.
No, but something that is rather pressing is the wedding speeches, because this
Yeah.
is where lots of people make
Yeah.
fatal mistakes. And I've gone to weddings where some of the speeches have been horrific.
Well,
And
you just clap them off. It's very simple. After 5 minutes, you start clapping if they're still talking. 5 minutes is quite enough. And if they go any longer, you just have to clap them off. I've done it. I've been at 2 weddings where it happened. I thought, I can't stand this any longer, so you just start clapping.
I've been to one where we had to have an
It's
intermission.
just so boring.
They
No, you
literally
can't
had
have
an
that.
But this
intermission.
is what I never understand, because you and I have got to do the speeches. Mine won't be long.
Listen, 5 minutes is quite enough for anyone to sit and listen, because by then, and also 2 or 3 maximum. Some weddings we went one the other day, I can't remember, the whole bloody family had to get up and say their bit. I mean, I would have had a gun, I'd have shot the lot of them.
But
I mean,
you've done maid of honour speeches before, so you know what to
I've
do.
done them. I've kept them quite short and sweet.
That's all you need
which
to
I
do.
think is better. Because then the other problem is everyone gets so pissed, and then if you're pissed giving a speech, it's even worse.
Well, that's why the best man role is always worse, because you've got to go last.
Have you got a best man at yours?
For Cape Town. I
Not
don't
for
think
the-
George is going to have one for Kent.
So let's explain quickly. So Kinvara is doing 2 weddings, not because of a lavish reason. Explain why.
So my fiance George has been to loads and loads and loads of weddings in the UK, and he absolutely categorically did not want to have a wedding in a barn. I mean, it was like his number
barn, in a
no.
church?
This is what everyone
In a
does.
barn.
They rent barns, they put fairy lights
rent
up, it's all
barns.
perfectly lovely, and he was absolutely adamant that this was not going to be for us. Obviously, he kind of failed to realise who he's marrying, and I would like to have an element of tradition.
Yes.
And as Kev has spoken highly of the church by the back of the garden, we're going to put it to good use, can't we?
We are.
So we are going to have the kind of intimate 100 people traditional wedding in June to do the legal side of things.
Yes.
And then obviously we're going to have sort of a big party in South Africa.
That's the other concern at the wedding.
Well, we've got to be mindful of individuals.
There's
that's for
certain
sure.
family members that could cause a concern when it comes to the
Well,
booze.
there are loads.
Yes, well, let's not discuss any of that until we've had the thing.
Yeah, be fine.
What do you
The good thing is, obviously, this is like, a trial run. If it's a disaster, at least we know what to improve on for the next one.
That is true, actually.
There is
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
No, but I was about to say, being the oldest of all of us,
Yes.
memories of our childhood, what do you think was the
Oh
hardest part about having all of us as younger sisters? And Edward, who I suppose...
I don't think it was hard. I think I have really fond memories of our childhood. I mean, we were so lucky. I think if we were to look at you and me in particular, everything was naturally easy for you and everything was very difficult for me. I mean, it was always a challenge, wasn't it? I mean, we both, I started to learn to ride a bicycle. You were, I was still in, what are they called?
They had those other wheels
What
on
are
it.
they called? And Olivia would be like,
2
10
miles
miles
away.
down, far away. I mean, learning to
But
swim.
you did learn in the end,
I
darling.
wasn't a natural
I took you to the
diver.
top of the hill and I said...
Yeah, no,
"Look,
that's
there's
what
only-"
he did. It was a sink or swim mentality for me. So
off she
basically,
went.
how to ride a bicycle, I got pushed down a hill. How to ride a horse, I sat on the horse and he whacked
you-
the
No,
bum
no.
off the horse.
Kev decided to buy-
How to ski, I was 8 years old and we went on this big family holiday to Courchevel. All of our cousins came. Anyway, Kev and Mum and I were like, Kev said, right, we're going to go up this slope. So he took us up a chairlift. And this is the first time I've ever seen snow, okay? It's a red run. He says, get down. you're going to have to get down. And of course, you can imagine me. I think I was 7. I said, I just want to take my skis off. No, you're going to get down. And that's how I learned to ski. And I
actually,
literally had
you
to go
ski the
from
best
left to
of
right.
everyone.
Yeah, you do actually.
Ski's the best of everyone.
But I do think you've almost, because you never had, you had Edward at the end, but you've raised us all quite sort of boyish.
Well, you 4 were definitely one unit, and then when Eddie came, he had 5 mothers. Poor little
Yeah,
soul.
I know. Well, I mean, we should talk
honestly.
about the story of my 13th birthday present.
What was that?
Well, the day Edward was born.
I don't.
Oh, yeah. No, what was that? No, when you went into the hospital.
Yeah.
Go on, tell the
Okay,
story.
so Eddie and Kinvara are born 2 days apart, obviously, their birthdays. Kev, explain what happened when we all went in to go visit.
So there was a 12-year age difference,
Yes,
is that right?
yeah.
So all hospitals now have this extraordinary habit of wheeling the mother out to, I'm not sure why, to get her off the property. So that meant that I was holding, no, the Kinvara was holding the baby.
Yeah.
And we went down first, down in the lift to get out. And then we waited for Katie to be wheeled out. And anyway, we got into a very crowded lift and I thought, oh my God, let's get out of here fast. Anyway, I said to Kinvara, now listen, darling, I don't want any more mishaps. This one's not been good. Anyway, all the people in the lift went, oh, that little girl's...
You said when I was
They were all so
You did to us.
shocked.
On reflection, looking back at things, it was like, I remember when we used to go to the supermarket, and I didn't appreciate at the time, but you would make me put tampons in like these really
No,
old
stop
women's
it.
trolleys, and they'd get to the checkout being all confused because they've also gone through menopause.
They all looked horrified. I said, aren't those chocolate biscuits? Absolutely not. Oh, no. Anyway, listen,
Wait,
it
can
was
we tell
all
us-
years ago.
But as a father of girls, you've
So Kinvara actually, as the eldest, was very, very sweet. And she was very, protective of her sisters, but she was very bossy. And she'd say every single day, right, today we're having a play. And this happened every day. And she said, and I will be the princess or Cinderella. And Olivia, you will be piece of something on the side of the road. You'll just sit over there. And then this went on to all the others.
Yeah, but do you think, if you'd had a load of boys, so half the conversations we would never have had.
Thank God. No, it was all, a bit of a trial, really. I mean,
No, but we did have fun.
well, of course. I mean, and it really was. And it was lovely that they all actually, although they fought like mad, genuinely did like each other. So they all got on.
Now we do. I think we've got to a place.
Lockdown changed it all.
Lockdown was incredible.
Yeah.
When we were younger, it was all
Well,
of us.
it wasn't really fighting. It was just sort of, when your child gets to the age where it doesn't cry every day, you've won the battle. So that's around 5, 6, sometimes 7, and that was the issue. It wasn't sort of fighting. It was that's mine and all this nonsense. So in the end, if we bought something, we'd have to buy exactly the same things 4 times over, and then there couldn't be a complaint. No, that was,
Oh, you should see it. Matching outfits and everything.
And
we
then
used to get sent down to church.
Well, the best
Poor
one was your gerbil or hamster or whatever. And so the dog, my in-laws lived next door, and their terrier came over and killed the living hamster or did something terrible. Anyway, when we discovered actually it wasn't Kinvara's hamster after all, hers survived the onslaught. Actually, I'm not sure any of them survived.
So they did and then they didn't. It was our guinea pigs.
Anyway, they all were massacred by this horrible thing from next door. What was it? Anyway, but what was so interesting is that there was tears galore and all the rest of it. And then when Kinvara discovered that hers hadn't actually been killed, she was absolutely fine again, within seconds. Oh, well, never mind then. I said, no, look, hang on a minute, but there we go.
Because I look back and just have so many happy memories of all of us together.
I mean, I think because we grew up in the countryside, we were really lucky because we had a childhood.
Yeah.
I got to 10 years old when I found out about Father Christmas. I mean, we literally lived in a bubble.
So obviously this is your first time on Private Parts Wooey. When I first did Made in Chelsea, what were your thoughts? Did you want me to do it? Or do you think it was a bad idea?
I don't think I thought it was a bad idea. I mean, I wanted you to be happy. I think in hindsight, looking at everything, I think you've done phenomenally. It's not a life I would have chosen.
Yeah.
For you or for myself. I think you are incredibly brave. I think the scrutiny and the turmoil that people endure on that show is shocking. I think it's shocking, but I think you've done amazingly. You found what works for you.
Yeah. But do you think anything I ever did ever affect your life?
No, I think.
Well,
I
no,
mean,
I don't
ironically,
think so.
the joke of the whole thing
Really?
is being the older sister is that at school you would have been known as Kimbara's sister,
Yeah.
and since the show, I'm always known as that's Liv Bentley's sister. So
Why do
like
people
the
call me
tables
that?
have turned. No, not at all. I mean, I have to say, like you've been incredibly generous with all of us. I mean, I don't know how much I can say
You can
about
say-
this,
no.
but Olivia has always been gifted incredible things. You've shared them with all of us. I mean, no, not at all. I think you're at such a good place now. Like, and I think
Yeah.
doing all of this is so much better. It's more productive. You seem
Yeah.
more content. You seem happy, and you're thriving in it. I mean, you can see how much you're thriving. I just think, I think it was really tricky. I personally wouldn't have the strength to do it. I think that's also probably why it's taken so long for me to come on your podcast.
I know, she's been wanted on here for ages.
Yeah, because I think, the internet can be like an amazing place, but it can be absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
But
I have to say, I think I was quite lucky because I did have all of you guys. I think.
for sure. But the difference between you and I, it's ironic because we have such a big family and we are quite a European dynamic, I'd say. Like everyone's loud and like in each other's faces and everyone knows each other's business. But you are quite private, you don't, offload to all of us, I would say, all the time. I'm polar opposite. I mean, everybody knows
Totally.
what's happening all the time.
Totally.
But so I think you're really strong, and brave. I think it was a big thing. I don't think you knew what you were getting
No, I
yourself
think
into.
I was quite young when I did actually
Yeah.
start. And 20 was young.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a baby.
I know. And I look now at 20-year-olds and I'm like, God, that's what
But
I
you
was
were a
thinking.
hit. I mean, people love you. You smashed it.
In the beginning, I don't think they did really.
No, they did. And I think one of the things that I love, like, especially when I see the feedback that people give you, like, firstly, you have built like such a, I don't want to use the word fan base, but it is a fan base. Like, people are really, really like rooting for you, which is
She
great.
was certainly very popular at Eddie's school.
Yeah. It's not just schoolboys. It's all those oldies he hangs out with.
Me?
You.
Don't be ridiculous.
I can guarantee that person that wished you happy Easter's got a picture of her in a bikini somewhere.
No, don't. Did we tell? I told you that. Oh no, we said that, didn't we? When I first got a tweet, it terrified Kev driving through anywhere.
Well, you
what
were
did it
getting
say?
messages as well.
Oh no, it said I'd suck off Liv's old man just to taste where she came from.
People are so
Imagine-
twisted. I don't understand.
This man lived in Hungerford. And we had to drive through Hungerford every Sunday evening to take the boy back to school. Can you imagine? I thought, my God, I'm not breaking down here. Can you imagine?
But actually, Kev got stopped the other day in the airport.
Literally. I think as we were leaving in November, can't remember. Anyway, I was standing at the queue at the Pret-a-Manger, and there were two little boys sort of standing, pulling the chocolates off the counter, etc. And I was thinking, oh, for God's sake, I wish they'd move out of the way. I was just buying something. And anyway, then the mother of these two kept staring at me, and I was thinking, oh God, she thinks I'm being really horrible. Anyway, then she came up and she said, I know who you are. And I thought, no, hang on a minute, you've got to be joking. You what? Anyway, she said, oh, I listened to that podcast.
But I think people are fascinated
I mean,
to
a
know.
sweet woman, but I thought, they don't get out much. I mean, honestly, they don't, really. It's a shame, but there we are.
No, well, you've sort of had a TV career. Would you ever? Because remember we got approached to do bitching with the Bentleys.
Look, I thought about it for a while. I thought about it, and then I suddenly thought, look, if you need to do it for financial reasons,
Yeah.
and this, I don't mean this to sound all arrogant, then I can see why people do a lot of these things. But I think that's what takes away the genuine
Side of
things. So I don't really, and we are, I know it sounds ridiculous, but we are quite private. I don't understand social networks or social media. I don't understand it. All I know is if it goes wrong, it goes
Yeah,
badly
but that's
wrong.
what I was going to say. Sorry, the word I was trying to say, going back to you earlier with your fan base, is that, and we need to come up with a better word because this word is being used so much at the moment, but you have always been authentic. Like, you have never changed. You haven't changed from the little girl that you were when we were climbing trees and I was falling over to, the 32-year-old woman that you are now.
But I do think, weirdly, in a weird way, having that alopecia, talking about that helped.
I was about to
helped
bring
a lot
that
of people
up.
with that.
Yeah, but that's what I mean now, is in the fact that you've got a platform where you are like
To be able to actually use it for that.
Well, yeah, but it's also something that you are passionate about, that you can relate to. Like you always say, the content that you get the most engagement on is when you talk about your hair,
Normal
like
stuff,
that, and
yeah.
you know that's.
I just want to be able to make the most of that and actually like really use certain
But you
things
are,
that
you
well,
know.
no, we're gonna have to start this Bentley Foundation.
Foundation.
Which we've talked about
I think
for
we have
years.
to, because I hadn't realised how prevalent it was. I mean, I really hadn't.
But in
'cause-
men and women.
But, well, yeah. I mean, a man's wig is a tricky one. I mean,
Will you be
Well,
slipping a
it's a
toupee on
sh-
for the wedding?
what?
No, he's got a
No,
double
no,
crown.
no,
But he
I
doesn't
mean,
need any extra
so,
hair.
No, it's tricky. But I mean, they're so clever now that, you know, a lot of people, and quite well-known film stars, they've worn wigs for years, but you'd never know. I mean,
No,
it's
I know, there are some of
amazing.
them amazing.
It's
But that's what I
interesting.
mean when you say you look back at that stuff. You look fab.
Thanks. This is what I want your help with, because I want to do a big sort of charity event. I don't want to start a charity, but I think we call it like the Bentley Foundation Gala, and raise a load of money to be
Yeah.
able to have wigs made for women who are
And not in
their
a
hair.
position to have lovely things done or whatever.
Yeah, or no, who are losing their. But the one, because I put a post up recently, and the majority was a lot of women coming back who are going through chemo but are
Oh,
about to
God.
get married.
Yeah.
So and it's really hard because you can't dictate who gets what. So I don't know where there's a starting point because of like your marriage, and now appreciate how much actually goes into the way you look. That could be the first sort of like offering, is putting money towards women getting married.
Yeah.
For
Which
wigs.
is a lovely idea.
Yeah, but it's sad. Like, oh, can I tell you something? A lot of women, they're like 28. They're younger than me.
Shocking.
Going through all this stuff. It actually is. So we need to come up with a way of. But I want to make it fun. I want to do like a black tie ticketed event. We can auction off a couple of blokes for dates.
Yeah.
Kev.
Me? Listen, you're not going to raise any
Give
money
it a-
on me. No, but we can think of loads of people. Yeah, I mean, that could be
But that
fun.
kind of thing could be quite
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now let's get back to your social media. Kev's recently downloaded Instagram.
Influencer.
Can I explain what happened when this all took place?
Okay, so basically we were in South Africa and it was, you know, like a Saturday morning, and Kev said, Kimara, can you make me an Instagram? I couldn't believe these words were coming out of his mouth.
This is
and
a
I
man
said,
who doesn't
but,
know how to save a mobile number.
yeah,
by
and
the
I
way.
said, but why? And he goes, because all these people are sending me videos on WhatsApp and I can't see them.
I can't open them.
So I was like, okay, fine. So anyway, so we created the Instagram account. As I was doing it, my little brother caught wind of this, and he literally said to me, promise you won't say it's Kevin Bentley. Promise that you can't, you know, make it obvious who it is. And I said, okay, fine. So we came up with a code name for you, didn't we?
Yeah, forgotten. What was that?
On there. I
Already
won't
forgotten.
repeat it. And so we created this account. Anyway, I tried to like play around with the algorithm a little bit so that at least he was sort of getting served content that he was interested in at the beginning. And we obviously had to take a photograph, didn't we? So that you had a profile picture. Do you remember?
So you didn't
No.
look like a troll?
Yeah. Anyway, then Edward got really angry with me
really
because I
nice.
didn't make him private. So suddenly all these people requesting to be
No,
friends with
the
him.
reason I wanted to do this was because A, I have a wife who seems to spend most of her life doing it, but B, the sweet couple, or great friends of mine from the past, are sailing around the world. So every morning, the wife does a sort of 2-minute spiel about how far they've got and the waves and this, that, and the other. And it's rather charming. So I couldn't open that before. So now I see that. And then Olivia appears. And then there's a lot of tennis, which is interesting. And then there's all these bloody snakes. And alligators. I mean, because I'm so shocked looking at it, does that mean they keep sending me more?
Yes.
In Florida, you know, these alligators just stroll into supermarkets.
Is it AI though?
Well, I don't know what's going on, but anyway, it's put the wind up me slightly. I don't like them. And I hate snakes. And of course, they go round there, South Africa. Oh, it's wonderful because it's got puff adders. I thought, oh, God, what the hell's that? Anyway, horrible thing sort of comes up. Anyway, so I'm new at this game.
I get nervous because Kevin says to me, he goes, how can I send a message to people?
Yeah, I do. How do
No,
I
but
say-
don't comment, because I worry that you're going to try and send a message but actually leave a comment under someone's post.
Hence why we couldn't name him officially. But also, Olivia, when
But
we were
how
out
do you
there,
do that? What do you mean? Leave
we'll
a
have
comment?
to teach you.
Okay.
Within 2 days of him having this account, he then said, right, so how do I start making money off it?
Kev thought he was going to get a free lawnmower.
Yeah, I said, okay, you got to ask Olivia about that.
Is that true?
What, that you asked, how do you make money off it? Yes.
Well,
You
of
could.
course.
If you start... Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, we thought we'd make him like a
So
garden
I
influencer.
could do a sailing around the world thing of me getting up in the mornings and just talking rubbish.
Yeah, you could.
Oh, well,
No,
I'm
but
good at
Kev, we
that.
should go back years ago when we used to live in Henley. There was the Henley Standard with the agony aunt column. You'd be quite good, Kev's column,
No,
giving
I-
advice to people.
I
I remember
think-
the first scene Kev ever did on Made in Chelsea. First thing Kev said was, "Just have an affair."
Oh, for God's
was it.
sake.
Well, I think it's the answer. I do. I just don't, I don't want to give the wrong advice, but you could spend
No,
hours.
but listen, that's pretty commonplace. This is my issue with dating at the moment. Is that everyone, and this is George would never do this because he's not that way
Fingers
inclined.
crossed.
Is infidelity because of things like Instagram. People are cheating the whole time, so you can't trust anyone.
And with AI now, you can literally like create images of people having, a relationship or whatever that's not even real.
No, don't. I got catfished by some poor bloke. No, someone catfished me, and they'd had like email correspondence. I sound like Kev now. For a year, and this poor man was going through a divorce, and she helped him through. This Liv Bentley helped him through the whole divorce. Anyway, then discovered it wasn't actually me, and he
He
sent
would
me a
have been
message
gutted.
saying, "I'm so sorry, but I think I've been talking to you for a year." I was like, "Well, that's not
Who
me."
was he talking to?
Fuck knows. Some other bloke probably.
No, that's all.
I dread to think what advice he was giving.
Shocking.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Well, it wasn't me because I've only been on it now for 6 weeks. And look, listen, I'm not big on any of this crap. I mean, to be honest with you,
You say that.
It's not, I know. I'm
What
really,
did you do last night? What did you do last night when you couldn't find
Well,
the
only
remote?
because only the remote's been stolen by another child who's taken it with her somewhere else, which is very anyway. Let's not talk about it.
So what were you doing?
Well, I went onto Instagram, send me off to sleep with these horrible snakes. Everyone, no, honestly, terrible. It's terrible.
What is the terror with the snakes? I used to want a pet
Oh
snake.
well, I mean,
Oh,
people are in the
stop.
garden. They lift up a paving stone, and a great big thing flies out at you. And I mean, I have to say, I have no idea where this has come from, but I've got a complete phobia about them. But we go, this place in Africa, and they have a lot of, not that we've ever seen any, thank God, but some of these things get into the house.
No, we had the.
Oh, what about
explain
the-
what
No.
what was he called? That old monkey that came in.
Oh no, we had a baboon. No, he was called Hector. Was he called Hector? Oh look, he's been, I think it's called euthanized. Isn't that terrible? So the group he was with chucked him out. Anyway, he came and joined me for breakfast one morning. Which I have to tell you was a bit of a shock because I heard all this munching going on behind me. I turned round and there was this huge 5-foot baboon eating an avocado. Anyway, all the sort of people that help us around the place all legged it, and I was left in the kitchen with this huge baboon. But actually, he had these extremely sort of
Friendly
human
face.
eyes. No, he was sweet. I said, "Listen, I'll give you a banana after that if you piss off." And so
We've got a photo of him. He's enormous.
Oh,
like,
he's enormous.
huge.
Yeah.
No, they're really not, unless you corner them, or there are babies, or they want some food and you won't give it to them.
But
I
they-
handed them through the banana at him, which took straight away, and then it wobbled off.
But don't they only respect men and they're not good with women? It's
But
hilarious.
they know the difference.
Yeah.
It's
Really?
very, very
yeah.
odd. Very odd. But they have completely
So you and I would be in
human,
spirit.
Bit like manosphere.
completely human eyes. I mean, completely bizarre. But look, dear old thing. So anyway, we put it on the neighbourhood watch or whatever it's called, and then and then people up the road who've got the vineyard up there said, "Hang on a minute, he's been here for breakfast. Well, he's having another one with you." And so he was pottering about. Anyway, he's gone now.
Poor
Was he called Hector?
I'd go as if I wouldn't.
What was the name of that man in Dad's army? Was that Hector? No, it was the other one. The dear old thing. Anyway,
We have an uncle. My mother's
Had.
sisters had an uncle. Mother's sister's
dead.
husband who bought a lion from Harrods, Christian
did.
the lion.
He used to walk him up and down the King's Road.
It's quite mental that now.
and
yeah,
it lived with him in a shop on the King's Road.
Yeah.
And then when it got bigger and bigger and bigger, the cleaning woman was nervous, as you can imagine, coming into that thing. So he very cleverly got hold of another English couple who lived in Africa and worked out how to get this lion back to Africa. And the amazing clip is called Christian the Lion or whatever. The end of that story is the amazing bit about it, because the lion was left in Africa, and then a year later they went back. And I won't tell you anymore because you need to just Google it, because it's really
Actually, it's
a
quite emotional.
remarkable,
It's
and
very
it's
sweet.
true. So, they did manage to rehome it back to its roots. But in those days, Harrods sold anything you wanted. You could buy an elephant in there. I mean, can you imagine? Tigers and... anyway, they banned it. Then they had to stop it.
Well, no, because they don't even sell the dogs in there anymore.
God, I remember that.
Yeah, I know. The little puppy part. Right, going back to our childhood. What were you most nervous about raising all of us?
Accidents.
Whenever we hurt ourselves, you weren't happy about that.
No, accidents. Because, they were literally climbing on the barn roofs. And, I can't tell you. And all you'd have to say is, oh, that's very, very clever. Come down, darling. Well done. Anyway, so we were very fortunate there weren't that many. There were a few.
And then the boyfriends.
And then that was another story. Yeah. There was always a strange car parked at the end of one of the drives. And I thought, I wonder what that's doing there. Anyway, of course, I should have realised it belonged to someone called Lurking Luke, who I'm glad to say he's definitely gone. And then we had to work out what we had to say. And both Katie and I agreed that we just, the more ghastly the person, the more wonderful we thought they were. Which, is charming. Yes, this one's a good one. Anyway, it's all years ago.
Tell them, say the tests that you put these poor men through. So one thing is that's a no-go is tracksuits.
Yeah. Oh, God.
No trackies in the house. What is it that you asked one of Wu's exes?
Oh, God.
To recite the alphabet.
Oh, yes, when he got to H. I'm sorry about that one. But where did that come from? Where did H come from? I don't understand it. It's a mystery. Yeah. So that's another unsolved mystery. Anyway, yeah.
Holding knife like pen.
That was a interesting one. That's another one. And then there's contribute or contribute. Anyway, look, we're in the world now. And as I was saying earlier, if we weren't driving at 20 miles an hour now all over London, we wouldn't see the things we see. I don't remember seeing any of that before. But driving here was an eye-opener. It's another world out there.
What would your advice be to other parents on the level of strictness you should be with
your
kids?
I think there's a very fine line between being great friends with your children and being a parent.
Yeah.
And you need to stick somewhere on that line so that you can, be friends with them and expect them, and hope they tell you anything ghastly that happens, you can do that to help. But also to be a parent, so there are some things that, quite a lot of things I didn't want to hear, but I did hear. I think I have to keep thinking, no, I'm not a friend. I'm your father. For God's sake, keep that to yourself.
No, because I think we were we were lucky that we had the relationship we did with you, because none of us were, really the ones that would go and cause absolute mayhem.
No,
when it came to drinking
God,
and smoking.
We were everything that happened was part of the course,
Yeah.
It really was, except younger than we were. We weren't getting pissed at 15, but you lot were.
And then it's even younger. Now that people are having sex at that age. I wasn't.
No, I hope. Well, it's not.
Was that an agreement you and Katie made to parent like that?
No, honestly, I think that all the things that you agree upon before the child is born go out the window. So we thought that when Kinvara was born, it wasn't going to change our lives. If we were going out to dinner, we'd go and the baby would come too, and it'd all be fine. And the truth is, it didn't work that way, because it's the routine that the baby needs in order to sleep well and eat well and all the rest of it. And that does mean that, we had to say, no, we can't come out, because if you broke the routine, it was hell.
But then by the time you had Eddie, how differently do you think you parented then?
Then the difference there was that there were all of you there to help, you see, which is
staff.
Interesting. Really? They were wonderful. All you girls. He was the happiest child. It was the easiest one for sure.
But do you think that's because he's a boy?
I don't know. I don't think so necessarily. I just think that, all of you were quite sort of grown up by then, and you could feed him, and you could, and he had a great time, excepting of course his nails were painted pink, and he was dressed
and he wore bikinis
and wore bikinis. Yeah. I know, which I'm glad to say. Once he started kicking the cat, I thought, well, things are all right. But it was slightly worrying.
Tell the story about when you had to tell everyone that you were pregnant. Well, that your mum was pregnant.
Well, that was a tricky one. I think you were all
in the Isle of Wight.
On the Isle of Wight.
We were all in trouble.
And I called them all together because I thought, I better let them know before it was obvious that something was on the way. And so I sat them down and then said, look, you're the very exciting news, you're going to have a brother. And anyway, there was absolute silence. And Kinvara just said, what? And I said, you're going to have a brother. Anyway, she burst into tears and rushed off and said, oh, it's horrible, horrible, horrible. What have they been doing? What's this? Don't tell anyone at my school. Don't tell anyone. I mean, it was really bizarre. Anyway, I don't know what that was all about, but the others looked decidedly sort of happy, did you? I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, we were overexcited because we thought you were taking us to a theme park.
Yeah, we were all in trouble and because we wanted to go to a theme park and you said, be quiet. And then we all thought we were being told we were going to a theme park and instead of which we got told we're having a brother.
But it was an extraordinary reaction you had.
Well, I was
mean,
learning
learning
about sex at school. And
Oh.
so everyone was like, oh, your parents have had sex 5 times. And it was,
horrified.
Well, only 5 times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of all the funny times that you potentially had to. I remember when the tongue piercing. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Kev's level of it's different parenting to mum. Mum's just sort of like scream and shout in there. Kev's is like, girls, in a line now. Do you remember that? And he called us all into the drawing room. It's always in the drawing room, and that's when you know shit's getting real. And he's made us all stand there. Some woman had been at dinner the night before and had said to Kev, oh, that daughter of yours had the tongue piercing. Anyway, Kev was like, none of my daughters have their tongue pierced. Anyway, we all stand in a line. He goes, right, stick them out. Mine slowly crept out.
Oh.
Stuck it out. And do you remember that? Oh. You said, Lula, only girls who give blowjobs.
Oh, no, I did no such thing. That had to go. Anyway, it's just a ghastly idea. Oh, yeah. No.
What do you think? Who out of all of us has shocked you the most?
No, equally all of you, without meaning to. Look, I don't think... Look, we've been incredibly fortunate. I mean, really, all of you are in good health and are all amusing and fun, and it part of the course, really. But it's interesting how our generation seemed to get married younger, and certainly my parents' generation younger. And now, the other thing that's interesting from my perspective is that all the girls, or my lot, are all alpha. All alpha women.
Yeah, but Kev, you've raised 4 sort of like...
I mean, it's very
No,
odd.
but we were helping in the garden, and then it got to a point where we all had boyfriends who refused to come down to the house because it meant they had to help move things.
Yeah, they didn't want to do any manual
They didn't want to do any manual labour.
honestly.
They said,
Thank
I'm not coming down
God.
because your parents make us move
We
pots
literally
and
used
things.
to have a test. We called it the lemon tree test. So every summer we'd have to move the lemon trees from your greenhouse to the garden. And every single boyfriend that came to the house failed.
They did.
Yeah, they couldn't do
So
it.
they had to go. Whereas...
Yeah.
Is George, what's he like in the garden?
He's
Big enough to pick things up. Okay, well, we'll work that one out. Well, no, we don't do that anymore. But no, it was interesting, actually, thinking back, because I think if you're staying with people, and some came quite often, and I was hawking things about, it's quite nice to get a bit of hand. Yeah, well, anyway. Clearly not. No, but back to the original bit, which is the alpha women. All of them are. All of you are. I mean, in this day and age, it's a good thing.
Do you think it's a good thing?
I think it's a very good thing, because it means that if life doesn't pan out the way you'd like it to, you are all have the ability to carry on.
Well, this is my reasoning for wanting to sort of remain potentially
No, you can have a
single
crack
for a
at it.
while. When it comes to dating, have we told the story about with the 4 blokes at the pub?
Who were they?
When I met you, do you not remember when I came to meet you at the sporting page? Yeah. There's another mortifying moment. And there were 4 men on the boys on the table next to us. Yeah. And out of nowhere, you turned to them and you said, I'm going to interview the 4 of you, and then my daughter's going to see who she likes, and you've got to take her on a date.
Yeah.
At this point, I was sort of 2 years on to Made in Chelsea.
And
I was
actually,
like, this is cringe.
Actually,
no,
one of them did.
Yes.
Because I knew his father.
You did know his father.
Yeah.
Ah, that's right.
And at the time, nice though.
Yeah, he was
attractive.
He was nice, but he was teetotal, and I wasn't.
Oh.
Anyway, one thing led to another, and I obviously had a few ends.
Yeah, never mind.
Never mind.
Right.
Anyway,
So,
I realised
yes.
he was sober. But no.
But Olivia,
You see, it can work.
those are better options. Unlike
I'm absolutely. What's it called?
Mrs. Bennett.
And no, in the religion, they have arranged marriages. It's a very good idea.
But you never got, mugged off the way I did.
What do you mean? Oh, no.
Oh no, you, Henrik.
Basically, at any
Henrik.
or any opportunity that Kev has, basically any young gentleman Kev will think is suitable
No, I have
for one
to
of
say
us.
Heinrich probably wasn't. He was in Lederhausen, and he liked to go on the hill walking. And I thought, just as a joke, I thought this is ideal for Kinvara, because the last thing she wanted to do is walk up the hills. So I said, I've got a perfect chap I've met at this party, and come and meet him. Heinrich. Anyway, I left them. And then about 10 minutes later, Kivara appeared, absolutely hysterical, saying, I've never been so... He wants to take me up the bloody mountains. Oh, God, it was very funny.
Yeah, his idea of a romantic honeymoon was to climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
And that's probably the
It's
last.
not for me.
No, it was out of the question.
Who else? I'm trying to think of what other incidents. you
Excuse
caught-
me, what about the man in the drawing room? When Kev said, Kivara, this one's going to be
No,
great
he's a
for you."
cousin. We
You
can't
could-
talk about him. A bit overweight. Well, enormous. Okay. The most important thing for you in any relationship going forwards is that whoever the man is has his own life.
Yes, I
and his
agree.
own business and his own whatever. And then you meet up in the evenings, or you meet at the end of drink, you go together and then you meet up at the end. And no one must live their life through you or vice versa.
Yeah.
You must have your own lives and you know, and not allow, you know, people to involve themselves in something they clearly know nothing about. So it's, you know, we'll wait and see. But I think somebody that, you know, is successful.
I'm quite content though, just being single for a little while. I think
That's fine.
But I've never had this like burning urge to have like marriage and kids. But I don't know if that will just come at a later stage, or it's because I haven't met the right person.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone's different. Like, I have a lot of friends, which for me, I find quite strange that don't want to have kids. Like I'm in the minority of wanting to have children.
No, you're not. Most people do. But
No, not with my friends. Honestly,
Really?
like most of my best friends, none of them want to have kids.
what is the reasoning behind it though?
They just don't want to. They don't feel maternal. It's just not something that they want.
But I have that. I'm great with other people's kids, and if I'm asked to be godmother one more fucking time, I'll lose it. I honestly, that and being maid of honor, I'm always
I had
surprised I'd
loads.
never.
Well,
been
I'm
bride.
sorry, Olivia. You know?
No. You're different. You don't count. You are no. I'm
I don't
more
count, okay.
than happy to be your maid of honor, and I'll be the godmother to your child. But I can
And
but it shows that I love other people's kids. The thought of me and like this is a vanity thing is ruining my own body for a child. I'm too selfish. No, seriously.
Shocking.
No. It's a shocking
I think,
thing to
listen,
say.
I think it's really easy to be dismissive and have feelings when you're at a certain time in your life. Do you know what I mean? I think things change. I think it's very good to want to be single right now for
Yeah.
you. I think
My
it's
priority
not
is my
good when you
career.
bunny hop from relationship to relationship to relationship. You have to have a decent
Well, no,
amount
but
of time
we were
apart.
talking about this the other day. I was actually never a relationship person. I had obviously the first one, Lurking Luke, but then after that, Digby and Tristan were kind of made in Chelsea. They were real
What
relationships.
about JJ?
Oh, JJ, he was sweet.
Your problem is you just go for these good-looking athletes. I mean, it's the best advice. Isabel Bowden, who came on your podcast,
Yeah.
she said to me when I became single, she said, you need to go for someone that you would never normally go for, like completely different.
But you met on Hinge. Did you meet on Hinge?
Yeah, we did, which is not what I wanted. I mean, I'm super old school. I wanted the whole like romantic story that you can tell your grandchildren, you know, like we were at a party and I met him and
Like
all this sort of
theirs.
nonsense. Yeah, I didn't get any of that, you know, and the joke of the whole thing is, for me, this is really awful, is that George was actually on a stag do when I appeared on this phone, and it was the groom on the stag that selected me for George.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't even George.
Shocking.
Yeah.
But he better be his best. He better be
yeah.
his best man.
Yeah, well, it's not actually, but yeah.
What happened to him?
Oh, he'll be in South Africa, I'm sure. I've actually never met the guy. But no, he chose me for George.
Well, I think that's quite nice though.
Because I was really, this is awful with Hinge, I was really, really strict with my parameters. So I didn't want to travel for this guy. So I, you know, was living in Fulham. I was like, can they just be sort of in the local area? But I also really didn't want to find someone who people knew. Like I wanted a complete random. I didn't want...
Do you know how hard that is?
Yeah, well, for sure. Anyway, I wanted a complete random. I didn't want any mutual friends. Like, you know, anyway, George literally came into my radius to visit a friend. That's the only way that we obviously sort of
Fate.
you know, because he was living in Crystal Palace and I was in Fulham. There was no way that we were going to meet at all. And luckily for me, we don't have any mutual friends.
See, that is quite nice. I wouldn't mind. Yeah, that is quite. I wouldn't mind dating.
Well,
someone
I think especially in your world, I mean, like everybody slept with everybody.
Well, this
I mean,
is
it's mental.
Can I be honest?
Like
the thought of having a one night stand, I just don't think I could have one.
No, but that's what I mean. I just, for me, it's not for me. You know, I
Things we've
just.
missed out on, honestly.
Oh, stop! I mean, you were up to no good in your day.
Yeah, what
Certainly
club
not.
were you hanging out in? Bebo?
Bebo? No, darling.
Yeah, wasn't that a nightclub?
Bieber.
Bieber.
That was a shop.
Oh,
But Raffles existed back
Oh, it
then.
did, yes.
And 151.
Yeah.
Yeah.
151 existed when you were younger.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it did.
Yeah,
Was
it
it
did.
called wedgies? I can't remember.
Wedgies.
Wedgies. There were a lot of them then.
See, I wish I'd been on nights out when you were on nights out. What did your night out consist of?
Not a lot. No, I mean, I don't know. It was the same as everyone's night out. Except we went to bed earlier than you lot do. I mean, we were in bed by 1 or 2, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, because we were working. Well, I know you are, but, you know, to get up. Well, I mean, you
Cheap
had
shot.
to get up early. Oh, God.
Yeah, how did you
Yes.
sort of pick
And wait
up
a week for a
girls?
phone call.
Well, actually, the funny thing was, and I know that sounds almost insane, but Sloane Square, which is where most people sort of lived in that radius, you know, the boys, we'd all work in the city, and the girls would be either doing directors' lunches or, you know, working around
Yeah.
that area. So you were guaranteed every morning to meet someone you knew. So, you know, your circle just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So, you know, every drinks party. I mean, we didn't go out for dinner to the extent you lot do, because, you know, we'd have dinner parties, you know, and people would come and you'd have spaghetti bolognese or whatever the hell it was. And then, you know, and you really did. That's how you met people. And then you're right. You would write their number down and then you'd go take them out for dinner, you know, Vino Bistro, cheapest place you could find, or Mossop Street. Anyway, the thing was, you didn't have this communication to the extent that you do today. So you didn't really fall out with people. You just didn't see them if you didn't want to. Whereas now it's all this nonsense on the phone. You're talking all the time.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have any of that.
can't
so
escape them.
No, you can't escape it. Whereas before, it just sort of was a natural progression.
See, that's what I kind of wish it was, because this is the thing with the dating, is that you could... Dating is so different now. Like, I
Totally
could
different.
text a person and meet them in 10 minutes for a cheeky shag. Like, that's how quick
Yeah.
it could happen.
Oh.
Crikey.
Not that I would on Union
We'd
Street.
write a letter and hope.
But do you know what I mean? Like, it's ferocious. And I think also
Ferocious.
now, like, men, the options are endless. And people always think the grass is always greener. There's someone else who looks like this. And it's all about the way you look when it comes to things like social media and dating apps. So meeting someone organically doesn't naturally happen.
No.
Really.
Well, not to the extent. Well, now I don't know who lives around Sloane Square. I've no idea.
No one
I mean,
might
well,
get
the
mugged.
trouble is, most of those houses are bought by overseas people. They don't even live in them. You know,
Yeah.
it's a you know.
But I'm trying to think of the
deserted.
last social thing I would have gone to where it could have been an opportunity to potentially actually meet someone. Like, where would you...
Weddings.
Yeah. Anyone at your wedding?
Yep. We'll line
They
them
probably
up.
are fucking family.
We'll
and
line
that's
them
half
up.
the question.
No, there'll be loads. There'll be loads of options for you. And then also, you know, like,
Things you're looking
weddings.
Things are like... Kev will be standing there with a checklist.
Things are looking up. That's good.
But it's, yeah, it's true. I mean, also, you've spoken about this before on the podcast, but I mean, you had like those balls and like proper
Well,
events.
you were a debutante.
Charity
We just
thing.
don't have
no,
that.
no, darling. A girl's the debutante. The delight is the other one.
Deb's
But,
delight.
Yeah. But anyway, you know, you did meet a lot of people, and
Mm.
there were lots of charity events, and you know,
Maybe at the Bentley Foundation. We'll bring it back.
We do actually need to do this.
There you
I
go.
want to do it in September. September a good time? Hair loss month
Yeah.
is August.
everyone's back in September.
Yeah. Once children go back to school. No, we
Yeah.
will actually need to do it.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I mean, for you personally, what do you think you need from the next person?
Someone who's accepting of my career choices.
And not threatened
and
by
not
it.
threatened by
I
it. So I
agree.
think that's something that's cropped up a lot. But it's hard because I said this to my therapist, is that the two relationships prior to the recent one was on TV, which actually, so I haven't dated, as in those two, I went on 2 dates with those Digby and Tristan, which both ended up in relationships within
Yeah,
a
yeah.
week. So in fact, I don't really know what I want. And actually the same with my ex, we met once and were in a relationship the day later.
Yeah.
So it's sort of hard to know.
Gunshot.
What?
Quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, so I actually really don't know.
But then this is what this time's for now, because this is
But the
when
thing
you
is,
can
right now,
figure
if I'm
out.
totally honest with you, there's so much work I want to do, and I'm like, selfishly, my priority is doing work rather than being with someone. And I love being alone. Like, I like my alone time.
This is all positive. This isn't a
Yeah.
negative thing.
No, I know.
The right person will come when the time is right.
Yeah. I just think also it's really hard. I don't know, and I don't know if it's getting older, but obviously everyone has certain like baggage, which, you know, I do, everyone does, and it's trying to work out how much baggage I could then take on of someone else.
Yeah, but that's what you're working out now. Boundaries. It's like, and that's why being alone for a period of time is the right thing. I had to be alone for 9 months.
Yeah.
From one relationship to the next. obviously dated, a couple of people in that
That's the thing,
period.
I just don't enjoy dating. I don't find it particularly enjoyable.
Yeah, but you're obviously not going on the right dates. Dating is fun. Like the excitement, the getting dressed up, the nerves. Like it's fun. It's exciting. Are they going to message me? Are they not? Like all of that is fun. Obviously, you don't want that to go on forever. Like you want a little bit of that, But you got to look at it as fun because you're getting to know someone and they're getting to know you.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be so forced. I think there's quite a forced dating
Well, that's
culture.
the thing. And that's why with the apps, I'm like semi against it, / haven't been exception on them.
Yeah, that's outrageous. But I mean, you used to love
outrageous.
swiping on the apps. Remember, it was like a Sunday afternoon activity when we were living in World's End. I used to give you the phone on a Sunday and you'd just swipe through. This was years ago. And
Tinder?
you'd be like, I like that one. Like, yeah, it was hilarious.
It's terrifying, by the way, giving you my phone. And I noticed you did this yesterday. Well, when someone shows you a photograph on their phone, you can't swipe. As in, you shouldn't be swiping over.
What's that mean?
Because there are photos on people's phones that are private. And
For all those dates she's going on.
Wait a minute. What are we talking about? This.
I showed you I showed a photo of a family friend of ours who wasn't looking in their prime.
Okay.
Anyway, you then kept scrolling, and I thought you better stop scrolling soon.
Why? Oh God.
A nud.
Oh. I can't remember who it was we were looking at, but anyway, who were we looking at? What a horrible idea.
What would be your biggest nightmare that could happen at the wedding?
Okay, so I've actually been thinking about this because everyone says like it's going to go wrong, something's going to go wrong.
People shouldn't be saying
And I'm
that.
trying to think about what could go wrong. So my only things that I think could go wrong is I think the generator just doesn't work or doesn't support what we need.
The generator.
Yeah, literally, I think the generator. And
She's thought this through.
I thought you were going to say
I have.
Kev showing up in his white
Because
suit.
that, and then obviously, I mean, we all know that I'm clumsy.
Clumsy.
Yeah, clumsy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So probably just like, spilling stuff on my
You
dress.
won't spill
Tripping down the aisle.
Behave.
No, well, I don't know.
Behave.
I mean, but don't worry about the generator.
No, but
darling.
I can't think of anything else.
I thought you would say someone showing up in white.
I know. I mean,
No,
or-
because, I mean,
or
if they-
someone shouting out, "It should have been me." But no.
No, but I mean, hopefully no one will wear white. And I mean, yeah, we're just going to go with it. I feel quite relaxed about it.
It's because you fucking planned it already.
Yeah, I know,
has.
which is even more terrifying because probably more can go wrong.
No,
it
you
doesn't.
won't.
But
It
yeah, I
won't.
don't know.
Look, it's just an event, and actually,
just an event.
if things go wrong, it makes it more memorable.
It's just a dress rehearsal after all.
Yeah, I
isn't
mean,
it?
you need to have a few mishaps.
What went wrong at your wedding?
Which one?
Shocking. Next.
Okay.
No, did anything actually bad happen at your wedding?
No. Let me think. No, it was fine.
The speech is fine. Did you give a speech?
Good, very good. Yeah, the speech, excellent. If I say so myself, excellent. No, there was a charming old boy who did the speech on your mother's
Her
behalf.
godfather.
And anyway, he rambled a wee bit, but no, it was charming. And I'd written down that I was going to say thank you for your few kind words, and I think I had to say I've taken the few out because he did go on a bit. Thank you for those kind words. Oh, ridiculous.
Well, thank you both very much for joining me on the sofa, and we'll have to do a post-wedding catch-up.
Yay!
Thank you for having us.